products, and I just wanted to really help people. And that's basically how I got into it, is just wanting to educate myself and my children. I believe in generational wealth. I believe that we should be leaving our children property and land. A lot of people, first thing they do is sell grandmas, like our great grandmas always kind of own stuff, own homes. And we should be educating our kids and leaving them properties to be able to live in when they're grown.
Okay. Now, I heard you say, so I'm gonna back up a little bit. I heard you say fundraiser. What do you mean? They have open houses for fundraisers?
Absolutely. It's called the Murfield, in the Murfield area. This is in Dublin, Ohio.
Okay.
It's a very prestigious area of suburb of Columbus. We lived there at one point in time. That is where my son graduated high school at.
Okay.
And you have Urban Meyer, who's a Ohio State football coach, who lives out there. You have Jack Nicholson has his golf course out there, and I believe he has a home out there. So these are the type of homes and the type of people that live in this area. And so they have this group called the Dublin Women's Group. And what they do was they would do fundraisers, and they'd charge people like $20 to come view their homes. And you go from home to home, and you got stickers and what home you go to next. And it was really organized.
So if you had the hobby of just looking at homes or getting ideas, decorating ideas, they will let you, you would pay them to walk through their home.
Yes. And that's what I was doing.
Oh, that seemed fun though.
Oh, it was fun. It was so much fun.
Because I am the person, they do terrible, but I'll confess. They had the open houses in certain areas.
Right.
Wasting the folks' time. Going in there.
Yes.
Just to see what they had. Look, how you living? Let me look in here. Wasting the folks' time. A mess. Eating the little snacks they had outdoors. Dressed up. A mess. But that was me. So I can see doing something like that. That's pretty cool.
It was fun. It was fun. And once my daughter got a certain age where I know I can be able to do my dual career, because I still have my other career as well.
Okay.
And she was a lot more independent. I went to school and got into it, and I just jumped into it.
Okay. And it worked out pretty doggone well for you.
It did. It really did.
Okay. I can see that. Look, I'm like, I can see that. I observe.
Yeah.
Tell me, I want to make sure this mic is down. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Am I too loud or?
No, perfect. I just want to make sure we're streaming on multiple streaming devices. And I'm trying to get this thing going so we can get it out there. So for you who may be listening live and want to hear the entire interview, feel free to do so. Information will be below. So you can do that on YouTube, all social networks, your favorite podcast channel. Check us out, Brown Skin. Look us up, and that'll be your girl Mel. And today's topic is Road to Real Estate. Let's keep it real. What's really going on the inside? And I have some questions that I wanted to ask as well if I was interested in buying property, because there's a lot of people who don't know the steps into buying property. And like if somebody comes in there, somebody went to buy a car with a credit score of 220.
Right.
So it's like, okay, well, I want to buy the house and I have cash. And usually this is just me. So correct me if I'm wrong or if it's updated. Usually, what is it, 10 to 12% down in purchasing a home that you guys request? Is that accurate or no?
Well, people think that you have to put 20% down. You do not.
Oh, 20. Okay. It went up.
Yeah, it went up. Wait, yeah, okay. So there's a certain thing called private mortgage insurance.
Okay.
When you don't put down 20%, they charge you private mortgage insurance just in case you go in default. And this can be from $100 to $200 or more, depending on the purchase price of your home.
Okay.
So not only are you paying taxes, insurance, and for your mortgage, they add PMI is what they call it. It's the acronym PMI. So when you hear me say PMI, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay. That's the down
And
payment.
that's
The insurance.
that's the private, yes, the insurance if you don't put 20% down.
Okay.
So now in 2021, the last 5 years or so, they have conventional programs where you can put 3% down, 5% down, and you won't have private mortgage insurance, acronym for PMI. I'm gonna start saying PMI, I just want to say it again.
Okay.
You would only have it about 7 years until you reach 80% loan to value. Versus when you get an FHA loan, and you only have to put 3.5%. FHA is a government-backed loan. You only have to put 3.5%, but they do tack on private mortgage insurance. So that makes your payment a little bit higher for not having a 20%. However, I have some great programs if you have a 660 and above credit score, where you can have no private mortgage insurance, which is huge. Now they have changed how much you can make. It does have an income guidelines. The income guidelines, when I first started doing it in 2018, working with the guy on this program, it was like 90,000. It was a nice amount you can make. Now it's down to 67,300 in Columbus. Certain areas, it goes by county. So you would have to call and see what county, and this is through First Financial Bank. There's one in Cleveland, there's one in Cincinnati, I believe, and there's one in Columbus.
Okay.
I'm not sure for Cleveland, but I know Cincinnati and Columbus. But they can also do any county in Ohio. They also do Indiana. They have one in Indiana. So if we have any Indiana listeners, definitely they can get on this program as well. But you have to have a 660 credit score. With OFA, which is a 5% grant, you have to have 650 right now. And all of these went up because of COVID. They used to be 640. But since COVID came, the restrictions got a little bit tighter.
Okay. But what do you think that it should be like lower, because COVID is causing a lot of people issues?
No, because they don't want it. It's more like they don't want to. There's a lot of people been laid off because of COVID. So that's why the restrictions got tighter, because they don't want to give out loans to people. And if you're going to be laid off and then they go in default.
Gotcha. Okay.
But these programs I really try to get people into, because if you have that score, you have no private mortgage insurance. That you have a little bit of higher interest rate. So let me say that.
Okay.
But it's not super high, because they're giving you $7,500 for your down payment. All you're paying is closing costs, which is about $3,000.
Okay. Now you talked about, what did you say? OFA or something?
Yes, OFA is the government-backed loan. But when you get the OFA, they'll give you your down payment assistance as well. But you have to stay in that property for 7 years.
Okay.
So I like to make sure I tell people that, because I don't know about some people, but I don't like being in the same place for so long. But if you okay and you like, yeah, this is my dream home and I'm going to be here for the next 7 to 10 years, perfect.
Okay.
But you still have to have closing cost money. And what closing costs is your taxes, your insurance. And so you have to come up with 3 months escrow for your account so they can pay out your taxes and insurance.
Okay, so 3 months escrow, meaning what?
That's meaning your taxes and insurance. So they take your taxes, whatever home you choose.
Okay.
And they divide it by 12, and that monthly payment is in there. So when it's time for your taxes to be renewed, the bank sends your insurance company for your homeowner's insurance and for your taxes for whatever county you live in. They pay that for you out of with your payment on your loan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what is like, being a real estate agent, is your fee included in that, or is that something different?
Great question, Mel. Okay, so being a real estate agent, we are paid by the seller.
Okay.
So the seller pays their agent and they pay the buyer's agent. So no matter if I'm on the listing side, I have some listings, or if I'm on the buyer side, the seller is going to pay both real estate agents.
Oh, so both of them.
Yes.
Okay, whoever put the house up, and then if we hire you, so both, okay.
Yes.
So we hire you, so you get paid from our side, and we also pay whoever actually is on the house.
Yes, whoever lists the house. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's okay. Thank you. Real estate language. Whoever lists the house. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, that's, I was wondering about that. Always have wondered about that.
Yes.
Tell me about and help me out with the right terms. You have, what is it? The stratified market. I know it's markets for you guys and markets for us, but the stratified market. Can you explain exactly what that means?
What do you mean stratified? I don't know if I am familiar with that term, to be honest. Stratified market.
Yeah, check it out, because I'm gonna tell you what my thoughts of it is. My thoughts are, to me, when I looked at it, and I heard that term before, going into purchasing a home, and I'm like, stratified, like what does that mean?
Wow, that's new to me. But what it means is it's neither a seller's market or a buyer's market. It's in the middle.
Okay.
That is what it is. But I'll tell you now, we are in a seller's market, and we have been for 4 to 5 years now. It's not getting better, it's getting worse.
Okay.
Because there's no inventory. And I do talk to real estate agents in Youngstown, and it's busy in Youngstown as well. They have multiple offers and no inventory. Columbus, Ohio is multiple offers, no inventory. Now, what I don't know what they're doing in Youngstown, but in Columbus, if you don't have money to pay over appraisal, you're not even getting a house. What does that mean, appraisal? Let me tell you. When you get a loan, the bank is only going to lend you money based on what the appraiser say it's worth. So what he does, he look at all the comps in the neighborhood, and he goes on to say this house is worth this. Now, it is an opinion, but it's a valued opinion. The banks hire the appraiser. However, it is a part of your closing costs. You pay through it when you close on your house. It's about $300 to $400, $500 one time. So if you offer $250 on a house and it only appraises to $240, the bank is only going to give you the loan for $240.
So when you have people who will say, well, they want over the amount because maybe the house needs a new roof or something like that, or even to furnish it, you can't go over that amount?
No.
Is that okay?
But you can bid over for the house, because the bank's only going to lend you whatever the price is at. But we are in bidding wars. I had a listing that had 33 offers.
Okay.
We had 30,000 people bid over. There's one person bid 30,000.
Okay.
People came back and said, if it does not appraise, I will offer you up to $15,000 to cover the appraisal. Yeah.
Oh.
This is cash that they have to bring to the table. My seller took the offer that offered the $15,000 appraisal gap, because we knew we listed it for $185. We knew it was not going to appraise at $212 what they offered. There was no comps in the neighborhood that sold for that much. So we knew that. So the appraisal gap is what helped them. They're closing on that house on Thursday. That seller, it ended up appraising at 202.
Okay.
They're gonna have to bring 10,000 to the table.
To pay for the
appraisal
cost.
gap. Yes.
So now the appraisal gap. So the appraisal gap is the money that they said it was appraised at.
The appraisal gap is the cover that it didn't appraise at.
Oh, okay, but that's what they listed it as.
That's what the people offered. Yes.
Okay. Okay. I got you.
So that is something new. It's going on now because the market, we don't have enough inventory. People have cash and they're coming up saying, okay, if it does not appraise, we will cover the gap up to this amount.
Okay. Okay.
This is something new. It wasn't like this last year, but now it's the inventory is so low that everybody is bidding over and offering money.
So everybody's looking for the houses. Have a lot of people lost their homes? Have you noticed that?
No. And due to COVID, they're not really letting people foreclose right now in the court.
That's a good thing.
Yeah. So due to COVID, the counties have, let's work with people. People are laid off, so we don't have any foreclosures. If we did have foreclosures, we would have more inventory, but we hardly have any inventory because there isn't really any foreclosures right now.
Okay. Well, that's a good thing. So when they say, or you say the inventory, what do you mean by the inventory? You were saying something about like we have a lot of houses in Ohio, but no inventory.
So inventory means we don't have enough houses on the market.
Okay. Due to COVID?
No, due to enough people aren't selling and we got more buyers than sellers.
Okay, so everybody ready to get a piece of the American pie.
Yes.
Okay, now I'm getting it. Yes. So the credit score you said was a 640, 650. Did I say six? Did you say 640, 640, 650, and 660?
Well, 660 is to get into the program with the no PMI, no private mortgage insurance. 650 is for the OFA grant. So okay. if any of the listeners want to know, this is the main thing to do if you're ready to start buying is to get pre-approved. That's the first step you want to do is get pre-approved. If you know what your credit is at, where your credit lands at right now. Okay. Get pre-approved. Once you get pre-approved, your loan officer will tell you how much with your debt to income ratio, that's what they look at on how much they let you borrow. And that's not the banks, that is a federal guideline. Because of the foreclosures that we encountered back in 2008, 2007, there's a lot more rules now. So you have a debt to income ratio that your loan officer look at and he tell you what you're approved for and he gives you a pre-approval. Okay. And that's your first step. Then you find you a realtor, or you can even find you a realtor first and they can tell you about the programs and you compare with your realtor and then get pre-approved. Once you get pre-approved, you're out there looking for homes. Okay, so get pre-approved first instead of wasting the realtor's time. Exactly. Okay. Look, I'm trying to figure this thing out. Because right. Now, have you had where you are out doing the thing? Like, remember I told you I was wasting those folks' time. I would go to the open houses. Right. Somebody will contact you and they're like, okay, this is it. And then they realize that, oh, well, wait a minute. I shouldn't probably be talking to you yet, but they still do. No, because I don't take people out unless they're pre-approved. Oh, okay. So you check ahead of time. Absolutely. Okay. Yes. Okay. Yes. My time is very valuable. Uh-huh. So if they're not pre-approved, I'm not showing homes because it's not fair to the seller to leave their home to show with people that's not pre-approved.
Okay.
So if you're a looky-loo, that's what we call them, and not ready to
Looky-loos.
buy.
I must be a looky-loo. Like,
If you're a looky-loo, the good thing to do is to go to open houses.
okay.
And you can even say, hey, I'm not pre-approved, but I want to be eventually. And I just want to see what's out there and what floor plans I may be interested in. You know,
Okay.
that's a good way to go look at homes, is open houses. Realtors don't mind when they have an open house because you are a person they can potentially be working with later.
Okay.
But to be with a realtor and you're not pre-approved, it really don't make sense, you know, because they have other clients that they have to service as well. So you want to, before you start, if you want to go to open houses. Now, at one point in time during COVID, we wasn't having open houses, but they have started it up again.
Okay. I was wondering about that.
Yeah, they have stopped doing open houses.
So we're back to the open houses?
Yes, we're back to the open houses. However, we should be, I haven't done any recently. My listings I've had just letting people go in because I have 98 showings. Really wasn't no reason to do an open house. But I like to see when I go to an open house, you know, one family or two families in at a time, not a whole bunch of people with this COVID going on.
Okay. Are they tested, or you just don't know? Like, how do you show a home that's, you know, during COVID, that's for sale, and all these people like in there? Do you tell them not to bring their children? You know, how do you?
No, we don't do that. We just, you know, I went to an open house with some clients just because we said, oh, we'll go to the open house if we was in the area.
Okay.
And, you know, and they have kids, and we just go in and, you know, people wait outside for people to come out, and people have been very courteous, and it's been working out fine.
Okay. Okay. Now, wait a minute. Has it been working out fine? Because I'm like a nervous Nancy. I'm like,
Yeah. I've been showing houses through the whole pandemic. I have never stopped. I've had closings through the pandemic, right in the middle of the pandemic. It's all about just being careful, wearing your mask, you know, I use my sanitizer every time I get out, go from house to house. I give it to my clients. When I get home, I scrub down good. I leave my shoes in the garage. In the beginning, it was like we were like stripping down as soon as we get home. You know, now it's, you know, it's been calming down a little bit, but yes, it's pretty safe.
okay. Look, I'm like, okay, I'm a nervous Nancy. I'm like, hold on a minute. We need to make sure that everybody is all right and safe.
Yeah. It's been okay. I mean, I've been to a couple of open houses, and everyone's doing a good job. They have hand sanitizer out, Clorox wipes.
All that good stuff, huh?
Yes, all that good stuff.
Okay, well, let's introduce our other realtor who is on the line now, Dana Jones. She's from Dior Realty Group out of Chicago, Illinois. So jump right in here. And Dana, I'm so sorry. I totally forgot you guys are behind an hour.
Right. I'm like, it's 3:23. Oh no. But yes, I'm actually out now putting out fires, making sure that people stay in their deals, because as you know, as a realtor, the other person that we have, a lot of times we have to educate our buyers, because half the time they're trying to jump out of a deal simply because they are, just what Mel said, scared. And they're nervous about everything. So I was putting out fires and doing my duties as this was happening. So how can I help? What kind of information can I give the listeners?
Well, you know what? Here's how you can help. Both of you guys could jump in here. The person that is afraid, back again, that person that is afraid, and then they decide they're going to change their mind in the middle of the deal. How does that work?
A lot of education, teaching them about why. A lot of times, like in my situation right now, for instance, she's a first-time home buyer. her sister's in the business, but they chose me. Oftentimes they're trying to do your job versus dealing with their own kind of control issues. You hired me because you trust me. I would never do anything to, in any form, mess up this deal and make it about me, because I live off referrals. And if I work really hard for you, then I'm going to get more referrals from you. But you got to realize that we are the professionals here. So just because you looked at that inspection report, we may look at it completely different. You may say, oh my God, this is wrong. I see 20 things on here. That's nothing to the seller who may go ahead and put $2,000 worth of work in the little hole that's in the siding, or the little issue in the roof because 3 shingles are off. You have to trust us. If you don't, you're going to have a problem with us. And I mean, it's just going to be a bad deal. And sometimes you have to have people who fall on their face a few times, which I had another situation like that just today. And then they come back and say, wait a minute, I hear her. And then they look at your track record. I do this every day, all day. This is my 24/7 job. I have went to school for this. I live and breathe this. I guarantee you that if you just follow my lead, I got you. So it's a lot of education. We're not just realtors. We are counselors. We are educators. We are motivational speakers. And believe it or not, we have more women buying than a little bit. So we do a lot of, like I say, just pumping them up to believe in themselves, because a lot of women are buying, and oftentimes they have to buy smaller, and they have to buy in like worse neighborhoods because they don't have a partner. So we become women advocates as well. So I'm sure the other realtors can understand and have that experience as well.
Okay, Ebony, have you ever experienced somebody backing out or nervous, apprehensive about going forward?
I have. I've always educated my buyers before we even get started about, as soon as we do a contract, I educate them about, we don't back out for cosmetic, paint,
Right.
door knockers missing off of closets. We back out for major stuff like
Right.
the roof needs to be replaced.
Right.
Things like that. If you don't have that secure nest to do it. But I haven't had it a lot. I've had a couple people, I'm gonna be honest, that I asked them to back out. There was one that this client really wanted, and I felt like the foundation wasn't good. And I'm not an inspector, but I'm in a lot of houses. It just didn't look right. And as your advocate, I want you to be able to be secure in your house and not have major problems. And I've been thanked for that, saying, hey, let's look for something else. I just think this is going to be a headache for you.
Right.
And this is this. I always tell people, yes, I'm paid to do this, but I do this because it's my passion. I don't just do it for a paycheck.
Right.
I would never want somebody to get into a home and it's just a disaster. And they did do an inspection, and when the inspection came back, he was saying they still was thinking about buying it. They were buying it cash. It wasn't a loan. And I just was like, you're going to put a lot more money into this. And we end up backing out, and they end up finding a really nice, it was a rental for them. They ended up finding something really nice for their rental and didn't have all the issues that they were going to have with this property.
Okay, well, that's an awesome thing. And just like what Dana was saying, we have to trust you guys.
Exactly.
And referrals, like she said, hers is off of referrals. And I believe you're with a realty company too, Red One, right?
Yes.
So same thing, referrals. So if they know, okay, this is a good person, they'll have my best interests at heart, because we know that's most of your home. Your home is like first on the list.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And another thing is that we have to talk about, for African Americans, we are the only race. We are behind by thousands of being homeowners. We need to change that.
Right.
Every other race, white, Asian, Indian, any race, every other race is behind us in buying homes.
Why do you think that is?
Well, I'll talk
about,
there's a lot of reasons. There's a lot of reasons because, in the past, there was redlining, which means, we wasn't getting the same interest rates as our white counterparts. There was steering. What that means is people were steering us just only in certain communities.
Yes.
There was all of this going on. I can live anywhere. You can't steer me anywhere. I can live anywhere. I want my kids to be in good schools too. And saying that, I'll have to send it to you. There's a video about a little black boy and a little white boy. They didn't live far from each other, but they went to two different schools. The little black boys didn't have books at their school. They didn't have that. And then the little white boy, they had all these different programs and STEM classes and all kind of different things at their school. We in the Black community, we have to embrace our communities. I don't think we need to move in the suburbs if we don't want to. However, we have to take care of our properties and pay our taxes wherever we live at to help our schools. We should always pass school levies when we got kids in schools.
Right, exactly. But there's so many deep issues. I mean, I could have an hour on that in general.
Well, go into it.
Okay. You have women who, like I said, are afraid to buy. They're waiting to get married. You have just a cycle of poverty in general. To buy property in general is a wide. I mean, I'm on my website. You check. I mean, not website, on my page. I focus on wealth minded. People don't understand about money and how it works, and they come from these areas and end up being taught to even hate the areas that they live in. So a lot of people will wait and move in areas just because they're just afraid to live in their own areas. And you're like, what's going on? I got people who live up north who don't even come to the south side. And Chicago is very, very segregated. I don't know about other areas and other cities. We're segregated here in the sense that the south side has so many things. We are diverse in terms of different areas where we're moving out. But if you live on the north side, you barely come to the south side. If you're a west sider, you don't move like further south most of the time. You move to the west suburbs. If you're a south side, you move to the south suburbs. We don't like our own neighborhoods. And so oftentimes we can't afford it. We decide not to buy as well. But we also just have the fact that people are afraid. They don't know about building wealth at all. They don't know that they're capable of it. Like I said, you have single women who just don't want to buy till they get a husband. And that's like, wait a minute, I still have to build my wealth. You can do this on your own.
Exactly. I agree with that. I'm a single woman, and yeah. I'm a single woman. I've bought 2 homes. I live in a $300,000 home. And this is the thing. I do not, what she said, you have to know about wealth. You have to know what to spend your money on. It doesn't matter how much money I got. I live my life on a budget, period.
Yeah.
Because I have a home to take care of. If something happens at this home, I have to be the one to fix it. I don't have a landlord. I own it. Yeah. So we have to, I don't have anybody I can say, hey, can you help me get my sump pump fixed? Can you help me do this? Can you help me do that? No, I have to do it myself. And that I have to manage my money.
And women are scared of that. And women,
we're not scared of it.
Oftentimes. Well, not all. I'm saying for those who have not been educated. That's what we're here. That's why we're more advocates or whatever. I deal with clients all day. I mean, I could do literally at this point, I probably got 30 clients. Most of them are women, and they're doing it on their own. But we have to educate them. That's all I'm saying. Even if they start off not understanding how the process goes. Because it's not just that. It's the fact that because there's more women buying, then they have a lot of issues at home with their male counterparts. I run into that all the time. Right before they get to closing, they're listening to somebody, the male who's not even on the who can't even get the loan because oftentimes our counterparts can't even compare to us because Black women tend to be the most educated women anyway. We're the most educated most of the time, and we're buying more property. So what happens is you have these single women who are buying, which makes us we're working harder to get them educated. But then they have issues back at home as well, or working with the fact that they either, it's funny. I'm going to stop there. One of my taglines is home ownership is for grown-ups. And the reason I began to teach about that in some of my my seminars was because home ownership is going to teach you something that you never knew about yourself. And there's so many underlying things that happen when you become a homeowner, right? So now, if I'm a single woman and I'm buying and my counterpart can't buy, you get in there and you look up. We moving towards foreclosure because we're arguing over who's gonna do dishes. We're arguing over we can't figure out who's gonna do chores. He don't have his name on the deed, so now he doesn't want to do certain things, or he's sabotaging things that you're doing. Y'all get a divorce. Now you're in foreclosure. We have a lot of foreclosures just because people don't know how to get along. To run a household is a business. You understand? You both have to come together and do that. And if I'm the only, and if you got more women buying, then you got issues with men who have a problem with the men, with the women buying the property. So my tagline became for a very long time, home ownership is for grown-ups. It's going to teach you things you don't know about yourself. It's going to teach you things about your children. It's going to teach you things about your relationship. And then only if you can get through that process, then you can maintain a home. But it's more people who are divorcing, and you look up their house is being sold or going in foreclosure because they cannot put it together. So it's a lot of things that's behind real estate, and I'm very passionate about it. So it's I can go into several directions with this, you know what I mean? But I'm hoping I'm educating a little bit about what's going on behind. But those are some of the issues that you talk about that's going on in our community.
Okay, and that is Dana from Dior Realty Group in Chicago, Illinois. If you want in on this conversation, feel free to do so. 515-602-9667. Again, the phone number is 515-602-9667. You can't get through that line, feel free to dial 614-524-5328. Go ahead, Ebony.
And what I want to also throw in there for the listeners is that don't be afraid to buy a home because things might break. There's a thing called a home warranty that you can buy at escrow. And what escrow means is when you close, it's about $600 and it covers up a lot of the major things. I had my HVAC system, which is my air conditioner. It went out. It was only 4 years old and it just a little part went out and the air wasn't working really good. And then I called them out. I paid a $75 fee. They came and replaced it. It's a little part. It was about $300 to $400, but I only paid $75. And I renew that every year.
How much is that a year?
It's about $600.
$600 annually. Okay.
Yes. So don't be afraid to buy a house because, oh, what if something happened? Get you some handymans. If you're not married, there's different things. And even if you are married, your guy may not know how to do any of these things, So and this is something I stress to my clients. If you can pay rent, you can pay a mortgage.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
If you can pay rent, you can pay a mortgage, but you're going to make money. Building wealth buying a house is building wealth. I have a client right now who bought a house 6 months ago and they decided to sell for whatever reason. In 6 months' time, they're making money off of that house. Okay.
Equity. Or rentals.
So they're getting ready to close on their sale and they are making more money than they put down on it.
Okay,
that
was your client. You sold them a home and now they flipped it and came back to you to sell that home.
Yes.
Oh, that's okay. Dedication.
They just bought it. They just bought it last year and then they're getting ready to sell it and they're getting ready to close and they're making more money than they put in it in 6 months.
How are they making it? Do equity or rental? Are you making it because they're selling and making more money, making money from the equity?
More. In 6 months, it's worth more than it was 6 months ago when they.
That's okay. That's what. Yeah. So that's it. So do you understand? There's 3 places in. So in our Chicago, we can put that home warranty in your contract. So before you even get to escrow, which is at the end of the contract, or you got escrow at the beginning, but if you do it at the closing too, we can do it as part of the contract. We can say, hey, we want a home warranty on this house, and then the buyer can continue that. Now, when you buy a house, I don't know if she told you, there's 3 places that the contract can fail, whether or not it's financing, inspection, or appraisal. That's 3 different areas. That's like a 30-day process for some. Sometimes it's taking a little bit longer with COVID. So there's all these different checkpoints that will make a difference as to whether or not you get your house to closing. And in between that, you can have home warranties and other little things that's made in your favor. Because sometimes the lawyers go back and forth and put stuff in there to make sure that if the inspection comes back and there's issues, you can make sure that inspection, the inspection repairs are done. Or maybe you're giving back credits, or maybe you're giving back money to make sure that that house is okay. So there's no real reason, honestly, for you to be afraid. You have all these checkpoints as well. I want to add that.
Okay, I want to add on to the part that both you ladies said regarding females buying homes. And I like, what was your slogan? In order to buy a house, you have to become an adult.
Right.
Home ownership is for grown-ups.
That's right.
Okay, that's
home ownership is for grown-ups. I like that.
I like that. Yeah. I like that. Welcome to the real world,
Right.
I see where you do have that issue, Dana. So you're absolutely right. Where if you have a home and you don't know, and I'll say this as a professional female, and having a home, it's like, okay, what is this person? You coming to eat off of my plate? Or you'll hear often, a guy coming to you talking about something. What are you bringing to the table? Well, I was already eating before you came.
Exactly.
So, and we come into that more than you know. I mean, it is so bad. It is so bad that, like I said, when I'm dealing with people, or I run into the opposite, where there's a man, because I'm a woman, he doesn't want to respect the fact about what I know. So here he's not on the loan, and so here I come, and I'm instructing his wife. He's feeling insecure because he is not able to buy the loan, so he's doing everything he can to put his foot in, and he's messing it up. Oh no, I need to use my instructor. Why is your realtor telling me that? I've literally had clients literally call me to show me how their men are in the background, like just taunting them. Why are you listening to that realtor? Blah, blah, blah. So there's so many things. I don't mean to throw this all off, but I'm telling you, I can go into real estate it's so many directions that it takes for us to get to a place where we can buy a property and keep it. Okay.
Well, you actually segue into my next part. Do you feel, since I already said before that you ladies are in a industry that was all male dominant, do you feel like you have those issues, or even now, like let's go 2019, and we know 2020, we'll skip that, but 2021,
let's get 2020.
Do you feel like the odds are against you by you being a female realtor?
Absolutely not.
No. I don't feel like that at all. But I do feel like we have to educate. Like we have to make sure that all realtors at this point, we are wealth enthusiasts. We are wealth educators, because we have taken on that role. And as a result, we also become counselors. There are people who just don't know. Right. And they panic. And there's people who just don't understand, and they need you have to stop sometime too, because I'm not your lender. I don't always want to explain the lender's job. I want everybody to do their job. I'm going to tell you a little bit about it, but I'm also going to direct you back to your lender, or we're going to do a 3-way so we can understand why the rates are this, why are whatever they should be. Your inspector, you have a team. One thing as a realtor, I'll say this too. We're the first person. We get that contract, but we have to hand it off to so many people. So even though because we're the first contact, no matter what, if the lawyer's not good, your team has to be good. If the lawyer's not good, if the lender is slacking, all those things mess up your deal. And in the end, it's always the realtor who gets get the hit. So you got to watch that thing. You're more than just a realtor. You are a manager of systems. Okay. At any given point, you could be managing 30 people. Right now, I have 10 contracts, right? I tend to stick with the same type of lawyer, but if somebody else come, I probably got about 5, 6 lawyers I'm working with. I got 10 clients that they're already under contract. That ain't the 20 that I'm working with. Then I got another, set of lawyers or inspectors, contractors. It's a whole thing. So, and a lot of times you have to receive, we do a lot to be more than just a realtor. We definitely, it's not just male, it's not male dominated, but it definitely is work. And people think it's glamorous, but it's work.
It looks glamorous. Go ahead, Ebony, you want to weigh in?
Yeah, let me weigh in back to the men.
Okay.
I have I have a few single men that I've worked with as far as clients, and they were wonderful. And I, like I said, they really value my opinion. They really looked at me for advice. And so I had it on both. I have single men, I have single women, I have married couples. I have
Yep.
a lot. Now in Ohio is a little different. Ohio has this thing called dower rights. And what that means is you cannot buy a house or sell a house, whether your husband is on the loan or not, without him signing.
It's called homestead here. We have that here. It's
Okay.
sort of, yeah, they have it here.
So here, even if the husband isn't on the loan, he still has to be at closing and say, you can buy this house. You can sell this house. It does not matter in Ohio.
Yeah, we have that.
So, we do have people who are married who both don't go on a loan. Sometimes it's credit issues. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it might be better to just do one income so I can get you in a program, because you can't get the no PMI grant if you make more than $67,300.
Oh.
So if you got two people and they both making 50 grand, then that's 100,000. So they're not going to qualify. So we might only get one person pre-approved.
Okay, so you look at the best interest of your client.
I look at the best interest. I have a favorite lender, but I don't send everybody to her because I send them to if they fit what guidelines they fit. As far as inspectors, I give them some names, and this is Ohio rule. I don't know if we have to give them, some names, and then they pick it. It's best to let them pick it. Yeah. It's best to let them pick it, just because we don't use lawyers in Ohio. The real estate agent does it all.
Oh my gosh, no, yeah, we use them here.
No, we don't use lawyers in Ohio. But yeah, it's just, so sometimes both the husband or the wife may not be on the loan. It may not be a credit issue. It just may be the best thing for the situation.
Yeah, they switch out sometimes. Sometimes the husband would do it because they'll do the first time home buyer, then next time the wife would do the actual to buy a building or something. So they switch out based on what they need.
Exactly. And it keeps, sometimes we do it to not hurt both of their debt to income ratio as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it just depends. But I just hope that somebody get inspired by this, because we as a people, we need to be in home ownership. It is building wealth. I just refinanced my own house. And they was like, oh, do you want 50,000 to take out because you got this equity? I'm like, wow, no, I don't, because I don't know what's down the line, and I want all the equity in my house. So when I want to sell it, I'm getting this money back.
Okay, I have a question for you, ladies. What's earnest money?
Earnest money, that is a perfect question. So earnest money is you get in contract when you write a contract.
Okay.
When you write a contract, you say, I'm going to give you $500 earnest money. And the earnest money goes to my broker as the buyer's agent, and it goes in his trust account. And you get it back at closing, or you can take it off for your closing costs and bring less to the table. But it makes the seller know that you really want the house. So you put up earnest money. So you can't just say you don't want the house because I don't like the way the walls is painted. But you can still get it back after inspection if you find out, oh, it needs a new roof. Oh, the foundation is cracking. Oh, you can still get your earnest money back.
Okay. And this question is for you, Dana. Are you ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
Are final walkthroughs recommended?
Absolutely. Yes. That's because something can happen between the time that the house is appraised or the time you put it under contract up until the time that it actually closed. So let's say it's under contract and you look up and there was a big storm and something came and messed up your roof or messed up your furnace, whatever it is. You want to make sure, at least in Chicago, you could do it 24 hours or even hours before. Within 24 hours of closing, you want to do a walkthrough just to make sure that house is what it was supposed to be at contract.
Okay, the reason, go ahead, Ebony, and then I'll tell you.
Let me throw this in real quick. Did a walkthrough with a client. Did a walkthrough. The house was not in the same condition it was when we first saw it.
So what happened?
The wife took all the stuff off the walls, patched them all up. It was white patches everywhere.
Okay.
So all the paint, all the walls was messed up. You know what I said? I need $2,000 for my client to be able to get the house painted. Because y'all messed the walls up.
Okay. Now tell me that this is what I learned. Fenced in the backyard. Let me tell you the scenario. Fenced in the backyard. Everything looked lovely. Hot water tank was new. The old one was over in the corner. However, the old hot water tank was replaced during the walkthrough all was well, but when it was time to sell, took the fence in backyard, they took the fence and it looked new. And the hot water tank was replaced with the old hot water tank that was over on the side.
No, that's not right. That's not right. They're not allowed to take stuff that's attached to the house.
So even the fence in the backyard?
It cannot take the fence.
Because
that's called a fixture.
It's a fixture. Yeah. Yes, it is.
Okay. Interesting. See, I didn't know that about the fence. I'm like, oh, well, the fence is like extra. Y'all say fixture.
It's a fixture. Once it's in there, and it's in the it should have been in the contract when it's sold. Fence is in there, hot water tank. You have to, all that stuff has to stay. All of it has to stay.
Oh,
yeah, it's called.
And you know what else has to stay? I don't know about in Chicago, but in Ohio, say you got all these TVs mounted on the walls, right? You could take your TV. You can take your TV, but you can't take the mount.
No, you can't.
What? Wait a minute. What?
Yes.
Oh, wait. So you have a flat screen.
Yes.
And it's on they walk through. And you have to, the flat screen is part of the house?
The TV you can take, you cannot take the mount.
The mount?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, for real?
Yes.
Look. Oh, for real? Oops.
Yeah, because that's once again fixture. If it's fixated to to the actual
fixated to the wall.
Yeah.
And if you pull it out, it's gonna be holes in the wall. Then the wall don't look the same from when they got it. So that's why. Yes, I just had to tell the client, oh, make sure you get your TVs. Don't take your mounts.
Okay, so if they bought the house, you sold the house, and I know we over the time, but thank God it's my channel. Look.
Right.
So if they came and they looked at the house with the fixture gone, all is well, right?
All is well. If it's not there when they made an offer on, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Look, I'm like, what? I need that fixture. I took it.
I know. There's a lot to it. And I know I came in the end, but it's definitely a lot to real estate. You can go in so many directions. And that's, like I said, that's why I do home ownership is for grown-ups when I do my seminar. Because it's just a process from front to end, whether or not you're getting your credit together, making sure you have what you need to. That's a whole finagle. As a realtor, she knows that we are often working with large groups of people and we have to move them in different directions. So some people get lenders for this, some people go to credit repair, all these different stages of moving them through this process. And that's what I mean. They sometimes are a little bit scared or timid, and you got to walk them through that.
Okay, I have another question since we're on brown skin. The clear and uncut conversations about us. Do you see, because you guys are on the inside, do you see that there's different interest rates for color, for race?
It's against the law now. It's called redlining and stuff. And no, it is not anymore, but it was.
Right. Different now in Chicago too. We have a couple of things where you have different loans. I don't know if she told you about that part, but there's different loans, and based on different loans, your rates may be a little bit higher and or not. And they can, like in Chicago, for instance, a conventional loan, they often do that like for condos in certain really nice areas, right? Because a lot of Black people can't get conventional loans. Oftentimes they do, or they don't want to. They do kind of an FHA loan where you may get a 3.5%, what you call it, a rate, versus a conventional loan is a little bit more, sometimes 5, and sometimes you get lenders who give you better. You may have situations where you may get a condo complex where they will not take an FHA. They can vote it out where they're not going to take an FHA client because they only want conventional. In this market in Chicago, I don't know about Ohio, it's a severe seller's market. So one house can have 17, 18 people looking at that house easily. And oftentimes that's also how they marginalize, not necessarily by color all the time, but by loan and what you have going on. So if I don't want to buy this house, if I don't want an FHA because FHA has more restrictions, I'll only choose a conventional loan. And then maybe I may go with a VA for whatever reason, because that has different restrictions. So that's how we get, ourselves in little pickles in terms of financing.
Okay, now I have to interject here. Okay, in Chicago, it's a seller's market.
Yes.
In Ohio, it's a buyer's market.
Sellers.
Okay, I'm like, let me make sure. Okay, so it's sellers, and not enough buyers. Is that the issue right now?
It's too many buyers and not enough sellers.
Inventory, yeah.
Inventory.
Too many buyers.
Ebony talked about the inventory. Yes.
Let me jump in here real quick and say, a lot of condos, I don't know about Chicago, but in Ohio, they have to be FHA approved. So
they can be.
Well, in Ohio, they have to be FHA approved for you to have an FHA loan. So in Ohio, I have a guideline that is off the HUD site. This is a government site.
Okay.
And before I show a FHA buyer a condo, I check this site to see if the condo community is approved. If I have a seller, this is how I protect my seller. I just actually have a condo that's probably going to close here within the next hour or so. And it was not FHA approved. So what I did when I listed it, I said conventional or cash buyers only, because I checked all of that before I put it on the market.
Okay.
Because what I don't want to happen is my seller take a FHA buyer, and then when we go to close, it doesn't close.
Well,
so you don't want to waste your time.
Time management is everything to me.
Well, Chicago, it works like this. So you can do, if a condo is less than three units, they normally take conventional. However, we do have a website, or we have just a list to show you if that building has converted to a FHA FHA approved building. You can do that. Half the time they know, because you talk to the management company or whatever, so you do have that information and you will discuss that. However, if you have one person selling and it's not FHA loan converted, they can absolutely go through this process where they get the whole building converted so that it protects all of them. I've done that before. Then you have conventional, where if you are over a 5 unit, I think that goes 4 and under with that one. But if you're over 5 units, we can get spot approval. So even if it's not a FHA loan building, you can get that particular condo spot approved. That's how it works here.
Oh, okay.
So I don't worry about it if it's over 5. If it's over 5, I don't worry about it. I'm just going straight to the management company and saying, hey, you need to sign these forms. Now, some buildings, 4 and under or 3 and under, they can say no. They can agree to not have any FHA loan buyers. They can vote that out. But normally they don't, because they want to also have other options. When a condo has a conventional loan, particularly in our areas, it's going to take forever to sell because you've knocked out several different buyers. Versus if you are kind of in a better neighborhood, normally it's higher anyway. They have better, better money to a certain extent. So a conventional loan don't really hurt anybody. If your credit score is a certain amount, you can do either FHA or conventional. So it normally doesn't affect them. But in our neighborhoods, it will.
Dana, what's the credit score, the minimum credit score to purchasing anything in Chicago?
It's 580 here, but if you want better, you want to be a 640 in terms of getting programs like down payment assistance and stuff like that.
Okay, so we agree on that. All right, lovely people. Thank you, Ebony, the lovely Ebony from Columbus, Ohio, Red One Realty, and thank you, Dana, from Chicago, Dior Realty Group. We do think that I did, and I'm sure a lot of my listeners, we do think that your job is glamorous, but I see the ins and outs. We just see y'all dressed up and going to these big, beautiful homes. And it's like, oh, okay, well, let me show you this and let me show you that. That's what we think, the onlooker.
Yeah.
But you love have come on and told us the ins and out. So one more time, and let's wrap this up in like 2 minutes. What would your advice be, Ebony, regarding someone who wants to own a home and they don't know which way to turn?
I would say get you a really good real estate agent. The first thing to do is get your credit together. Make sure you're paying your bills on time every month. Make sure you're not making your credit cards. Your credit will boost if you are not maxing your credit cards out.
Okay.
Whatever your available credit is, you should only be using 30% of that and keeping it under. Having no credit cards does not help you. So you do need credit cards to boost your credit. Do not pay them off every month. That hurts you. You need to keep a balance on them every month and to keep paying them. I don't care if you owe $150, give them whatever the minimum payment is, just to have that open. Anything that's your long-term credit cards, you definitely don't want to close. Give it to an agent, pay your stuff on time, pay all your bills on time, pay your rent on time. If you want to get in programs, they will look at your rental history. If you're late on your rent, they're gonna you won't get into good programs for that if you want. And there are some good ones. And we can get brown people into conventional loans. We do not have to be just FHA. I have great conventional loans that I got people in.
Yep.
They have to have the credit score, and it's the way to go, especially when you're a first-time home buyer, or even if you're not a first-time home buyer and you just need that extra money. I got some great conventional, no PMI programs. If you get your score up, your credit is wealth. People think liquid cash. Yes, liquid cash is good to have in the bank, but credit is power.
Yes, it is.
Okay. Absolutely. And Dana, I have a question for you. Have you found, or are you able to be a agent with someone who is out of state, be their agent if they request you?
Well, we get reciprocity in Atlanta and in Florida. I have so much clientele, I'm not going to tell you, I don't even try to do half that. Like, I can go over to Indiana. I haven't even moved over to Indiana, even though I have access to Indiana, everything. I am booked and busy. So I stay right where I am, build my clientele right here, and I'm doing fine. Like I said, I've got 10 contracts I'm trying to manage right now, and that doesn't include the other 20, 30 that I'm working with, because I am so passionate about it, and everybody knows that. So now you can, but for me, I'm hands-on right here in Chicago, and any part of Illinois at all, any suburb, anything.
In the Illinois area. Now, for you, Ebony, and I've actually spoke with you, we were talking, what was that, last year, I think? Was it last year?
Yeah.
And so referrals, in other states, if you know somebody, referrals are okay. And I remember you saying that the buyer's agent and the seller's agent, they get certain, they get monies. So
we get paid by the sellers.
Okay. So if you're in Ohio, in Columbus, Ohio, and someone in Cincinnati, somebody, they're like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to call Eb. I know Eb, and she's a great realtor, so I'm going to call her. How does that work? Do you refer them to someone over?
I do. I had a couple closings in Youngstown. I could very much do, I'm only licensed in Ohio. I can very much do anywhere in Ohio. However, I do not. I referred a couple clients to agents in Youngstown just because I can't be any value to them living here. I have, still one child that's a minor, and I also still work my day job as well. So saying that, I refer people all the time. I refer people out of state. I don't as well. I have had referrals from out of state. I had a lady in Florida call me, and she had a friend in Columbus, and I paid her a referral fee and I closed the deal. And I do the same thing with her. And so we can do that. But my goal is to get a license in Florida next. But it's not really to sell in Florida. It's to buy my own property in Florida one day.
Okay.
I want to get me like an Airbnb or something. So,
yeah, they acting up in Florida. You see, they got the doggone. You better hurry up. Why everybody?
I know.
You got to be in the house by 8, right?
Right. Well, everybody going to Miami right now. So, but I want to buy me an investment property down there because we go so much. Instead of paying, we always go stay at a hotel for 3 or 4 days, or whatever. So I'm going to get, my broker is actually getting a Florida license. So then once he gets it, I'll do it. I still won't sell. I will still refer out because I'm not there to learn. And if I don't know everything, I won't touch it.
Okay. All right, lovely ladies. Any last words from you, Dana?
No, I was telling her I'm full time. My kids are grown, so that's why for me, I'm real. When I say I all day, every day, that's why you hear this passion coming up out of me. I do not play any games as a result to this, and I'm when I say all over Illinois, everywhere and in between. So
that's why you're Catch Dana. You got the
catch Dana.
Yep. That's it. But I love what I do. And I'm sitting here now as I'm talking. I was leaving some issues now. I'm sitting here addressing an inspection only to go to a showing in a few minutes. So
I got a showing at 6 tonight.
Well, I appreciate you busy ladies.
Yes. I got on for you, Mel, because I didn't get off work till 3. I drove home, and when I'm like, oh, let me use the bathroom and all this stuff. And
I'm like, hey, where I pay for that? Brown skin coming on. I totally forgot, Dana, that you guys are out. I was like, well, where is Dana at? I said, I know I got to catch her, but hold on.
Yeah.
Right. I was gone. Y'all caught me right in the middle. So I'm hyped. I'm like, what's going on?
I am glad about it. All right, lovely ladies. I appreciate you coming on. I thank you. And we're celebrating.
No doubt.
And I'm like, well, I need to get some bad women up on here on Brown Skin this week. This is celebrating Women's Month too. So I thank you
for
coming on Brown Skin. You are listening to Brown Skin, the clear and uncut conversations about us every single Monday. So I appreciate you guys. Find you, embrace you, most importantly, always love you. You can catch me on all socials. I'll have their information for you up on the website. It is shoptalkwithmel.com. And if you want to donate to the station, feel free to do so. The information will be below. All right. Thank you much.